death of Christ. That is, the document Q doesn't exist. But the scholars, and they're all in agreement on this, Q does exist, except we don't have a copy of it. That is, it is an amalgamation of certain elements in the Gospels of Luke and Matthew, and it makes them, they have a common source. And the common source is Q, or Kel, but it's called Q. But we have no copy of Q, but many things are being discovered in recent years in biblical archaeology, and Q may turn up yet. But this is the next. Notice I'm drawing a line. It's linear again. What follows after Q? We have the first of the church councils, the 325 AD, the council at Nicaea, and then that was followed by, they didn't finish. They couldn't get it done. And so in 431, you get the Council of Ephesus. That didn't do it, and so it was followed up in 451 by the Council at Chalcedon. Now, all three of these councils took up the same subject. They took up the Homoousian controversy. Homoousios in biblical Greek means substance. That's the subject of these three councils. The substance is what they fought about. What's that mean? It means, what was the substance of which Christ was made? Literally, what was he made of? Now, I'm going to give you the answer to that, because in 180 AD, I'll put this off to the side, we have an astonishing figure emerged. I'll put his name down for you. Irenaeus. Irenaeus is a highly controversial figure. He's a brilliant clergyman. He was the bishop of Lugdunum, which became, after 180 AD, Lyon, France. So he's a bishop of Lyon. And anyway, he was involved in these three controversies, these three councils. I say, what is the Homoousian controversy? I say, what is Christ made of? I will give you the orthodox answer for both Catholics and Protestants. It's very clear. It's laid out in a chart. Christ was, I'm going to define him now, for both Catholic and Protestant, a God first, who became a man and became a God. That's it. The God, man, God. That's the substance of which Christ is born or made. Now, there are three possibilities here. First of all, is Christ a God, or is he a man, or is he a combination of the two? You've only got three possibilities. This was fought endlessly and with an enormous amount of bloodshed in all three of these church conferences. What's the conclusion? They never reached a proper conclusion. They reached an orthodox conclusion, which was restless, unsatisfactory, has not been resolved until today. Now, those of you who are Catholics and those of you who are Protestants say, well, wait just a minute. My minister in my church teaches me that Christ was a God who became a man who became a God. But that is the orthodox answer to it. But that is laid down by the heads of the church, Catholic and Protestant. But it is not satisfactory. It is still a turbulent subject. The 1545, the Council at Trent. It lasted 10 years. What was the subject? The Homoousian controversy 1,000 years later, and they're still fighting about what it is that Christ is made of, literally. And I say it has not yet been fully resolved, despite the fact that there is an orthodox answer. But then I have to take the authoritative point of view and say to you, well, this is the way it is. That's the way it is. Because if you don't respect this orthodoxy, then you're out. Excommunicatio, out of the picture entirely. No Christian is allowed to speak to you or give you the time of day. You are a non-person. unless you buy the whole package, all of the orthodoxy. And the orthodoxy, I'm not going to go into this, dates back to Irenaeus, who was about to be martyred. He felt that it was coming. We do not today know whether Irenaeus was martyred or not. But he felt that he would be, and indeed the possibilities were very real about this, and he may have been. We just don't have any historical evidence on it. But anyway, he thought before he died he wanted to leave an organized church, because the church was under very heavy assault by the pagan authorities. And so this is why we got suddenly a lurch, a hurricane, a blizzard of orthodoxy, which occurred around 180 AD, and much of it is owing to the work of this one man, Irenaeus. Okay, the 1545, I could go on and on. The 1854, the Ineffabilis, the great church bull promulgated by the Pope Innocent IX, who didn't dare present it to the church, the councils for approval, because it wouldn't have been approved. It's the doctrine of the Immaculate Conception. Quite recent, I say 1854, the doctrine of the Immaculate Conception, fought savagely for 2,000 years, and was finally passed by a pope who superseded the work of the church councils and ignored them entirely. I can go on with this line, but you see, it is a vertical line which intersects the horizontal line I gave. And so I say Christianity is essentially linear in its vision of the truth and reality. Now, this has become so much academic trash. All of it. Trash. They put it aside. Why? The Gnostic Gospels have changed all of this completely. And we now see the church in wholly different terms. The revolution has occurred in your lifetime and mine. And we now view the church, if you know the Gnostic Gospels, in a wholly different way. How different? Well, in Henry Chadwick, I say this is where I started, and I say you can still buy Henry Chadwick in paperback, and you get the old conventional picture, but I say it's dead as a salted mackerel, because it doesn't matter anymore what Chadwick said. With the advent of the Gnostic Gospels, we view the whole church history in a different way. For 2,000 years, both Catholic and Protestants have said, we look forward to the golden age of the church. What is the golden age of the church for the Catholic and Protestants? It's the 1st century AD. This is called the primitive church. It was not very primitive, but that's the term given to the 1st century AD, when everything was simple and clean and pure. All the lines and all the diagrams were so simple